I made this video just to show you quite a big problem with my CNC machine. The X-axis linear rails are too thin. They are about 16 millimeters, which I thought was enough. When I ordered them, they felt quite stiff, which, you know, they are, until I mounted them in the CNC. That's when the problem came out. That's when I realized it ain't gonna work, which you can see on this video. So I grabbed the carriage by its top, and you can see that it's quite flexible, which means that this machine is quite useless. So I'm going to replace these rods with like 35 millimeters ones. And here comes the question to you guys, which is gonna be probably the one subscriber that subscribed to me 3 or 4 days ago. Let me check. Yep, 3 days ago. So the question is it gonna be enough? So the length is 50 centimeters and the thickness, as I said earlier, is going to be 35 millimeters. Also, if you are wondering how this PCB thing came out, on the first glance it looks quite good. As you could see, we've just watched the bottom and here's the top. Yeah, maybe it looks good, but if you look at it closer, you're gonna find like straight-ish squiggly lines going through it. Especially on this picture, you can see that the, well, I'm gonna show you with the arrow, this line is pretty straight, right? And the line perpendicular to it is quite squiggly, lightly said. It's terrible, basically. So that's like one problem. The second one is that it doesn't want to mill where it's supposed to. So here you can see that the tracks that are supposed to carry power to the microcontroller are pretty thin, and there are some thick copper tracers between them which shouldn't exist, and for some reason they are there, I guess. Like, I looked at the G-code viewer thing in Flatcam. I made sure that there won't be any copper between the actual tracks that are supposed to carry power, and for some reason these tracks are thinner than the copper between them, and it's probably because the milling bit slipped. Like, oh, I'm gonna replace these rods. It's gonna fix it. Yeah, there's no point in wondering and trying to explain how did it happen. It looks terrible, basically. Look at that. What's that? What is this? What is that shape? It looks like some kind of spear. Also, the holes are oval. So this is squiggly circle, and this basically is an oval, which is bad if you don't know. It's really bad. And also, I almost forgot about it. I've milled a square hole inside the PCB, and look at that. What is that? This thing. Like, it's pretty crazy how terrible it is. Oh, and another thing that I almost forgot. Don't use 3D printer or any other small stepper motor controllers for large stepper motors. Even though the current rating is supposed to match, just don't do it. I had a problem where when I tapped the bottom of the spindle with a drilling bit or something, the motors would start turning, like they would move a step left, right or something, all of them, which was pretty interesting because I didn't know why. It was probably because of like electromagnetic radiation slash interference and stuff like that. But I bought the smallest, like I think 3 amps stepper motor controllers inside their black package thing, separate module thing, and it worked like a charm. Just like that. It just started working. So yeah, just don't use those cheap 3D printer drivers. So I think that's it. Just to drop your thoughts on what do you think about the 35mm rods, and hopefully it's gonna be enough, because these rods are freaking expensive and I don't really want to buy anything bigger than that, than the 35mm.